Thank you again, sir, for the 9 months in a row. Give time. Let's see who gets snipes this one.
My rush chat isn't up.
I hope I win so I could dump my tokens right back into the jar.
Right?
Frank was still first.
I had to load chat. I actually had to load the stream.
So first data points on Chem Labs. Am I going 50-50 or what?
Yeah, 50-50.
Okay. Not top one. Also, I almost didn't praise the sun. We were going to start science out praising the sun. That'd have been awkward.
Real awkward.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Gray. Oh god, so I was warping, I forgot that I was warping at the sun, so my ship was like the sun block. I moved my camera and I was like, ah shit. Right in the face. Alright, ship, I need you to stop so we can praise the sun. Yeah! Seth! 15% off plexes right now. Driz, C5s are wormholes, class 5s. We're gonna try and talk about them today and how they interact with rattlesnakes and some grand designs. Alright, right click, Dex. Yes, I know what I'm doing. I do like how the game has a pop-up for like, you do realize...
You're an idiot.
Yeah, like, there's no good reason for you to do this. Oh, awesome, we'll do Ace, thank you. Alright, we're back in the ship. See, it's the second site. Right, so it's gonna be
I don't think we'll move to C5. Like, you know, we're not gonna live there.
We'd have step A, Driz. Before you can go to a wormhole, you have to have a wormhole. Like,
yeah,
it's a process.
So and I haven't really like hammered this all out with Rush, but my thoughts are I'm going to provide, you know, buy a small boss from Lil.
Take that in for a moment. Frank just said he's buying a POS. Like,
it's not
what a great time to be alive.
A couple $100 mil.
Still, just like Frank's gone from BNIs to, hey, big man, let me buy a POS.
I could bring like 2 or 3 Citadels and it'd be okay. There is 87 people in this system. There's
stuff going on. There's things happening. All right, set name.
Gariah with tokens.
0-1.
So funny.
Save location. U1. So I'm already at half shields, Frank.
Are you in full orbit?
No. Like this char. Oh, you know what is it? It's Chem Lab. It's like Chem Lab life. Look at those missile launchers. I've forgotten those were a thing.
Ooh. True resin system. My rattlesnake is not docked up yet. Not a good time to be alive.
Not a good time.
2 reds out of 87 people.
I mean, all it takes is 1 red to...
As I say, the blues are less likely to be as helpful as you might think. Ask Gariah. Gariah's been in locals with blue, with like 30 blues, and he was not a priority. I know nothing about wormhole PI. I presume it's the same as null, but I don't know.
No, it's better.
Because planet types or what? Like you get the same stuff out of it.
I assume planet types. Like, so I assume that everything in the wormhole is better than everything not in the wormhole.
We know that's not true because of data and relic sites. Just that things aren't always better in normals. I mean,
Oh,
like they're either comparable or better, maybe.
or better. Like, there are data points that could be lower, but I'm operating under the assumption that given the appropriate data points, 1,000, 10,000 data points.
So Frank, should I be alarmed at all that I have 0 EM resist?
No.
My shields are down to 39%, and I am very concerned.
Okay.
I'm building back up though. I'm up to 42%. 43.
So I ran the numbers. Like, it's
I mean, I'm looking at the numbers, and the number is 0. Numbers don't lie, Frank.
right.
You've got me
So
out here
I
with 0
understand
EM
stop
resist.
sign.
But like the 60
I
thermals
understand.
are pretty high. Like,
But I ran the numbers, and
oh, I
Numbers
hear
say-
like, dear God, why do I have 0 EM? How is this a thing? I mean, my shields are holding. I'm back up to 50. 39 was the ebb. That was the low point. Oof.
so I told Lily, because I was in AP9, that I was going to do my PI, and I forgot.
I haven't touched my PI in weeks. Ever since I had the random thought that I want to take all of Uhtred's PI down, and then use his planets to put factory planets in different places in Provi, and just feed raw materials in, but not actually harvest them myself.
Right.
Like, that idea broke me for wanting to do what I currently had set up, and I haven't set up the new system yet, so... Alright, so 50-50 is holding. I'm at 57%, so it's just landing that's scary, I guess. I might even drop MTU at 50 and just not care, like, because I'm dropping 5 sites.
So, what if you warp it at 70, orbit at 50, and then drop the MTU?
Right.
You wait to drop the MTU.
Yeah. In fact, next time I probably would. I probably would warp in at 70, establish orbit at 50. Because I don't think warping at 70 and orbiting at 70 is going to diminish the damage coming in. Not to
No,
not to a relevant
then-
degree, anyway.
Because then you're still having to backtrack for orbit.
Right.
Because if you warp in at 70, you don't, like, immediately take a left turn and start your orbit.
Where Garaya is now. Oh, Garaya's jumped in the second.
Nice.
Garaya took the skill injector last week. Alright, let's get to this. Alright, Ventel's looking happy. Yeah, wave... So, on Chem Labs, from what we know, Frank, Wave 1's the only relevant wave, right?
Yep.
And now we're going to live the same life of always worried about yellow boxing frigs, I presume? Like, yellow boxing frigs is the only thing that we're ever going to care about?
Wait, what? What'd you say was relevant?
We're going to go back to being in the life on Havens where yellow boxing frig is the only thing we ever care about?
Yeah. So, I guess you should explain that the reason you're trying this science.
I got you. Yeah. So, we broke out the Ishtars today. So, in a perfect world, if I were running multiple screens and had no other limitations, I would park a VNI pilot in different systems only on Rock Havens. That's all I would run. Now, for terms of practicality, it's easier for me to manage multiple accounts that are in the same local. For me to manage multiple accounts in the same local, I have to have them on different sites, and to run different sites, I need to use different tools. We talk about this often on stream. Ships in Eve are just tools, and for a different job, you might use a different one. So I've shipped up to the Ishtar and gained 0 damage. That was not the intention. I just wanted a ship that could handle the Chem Lab and hopefully the Sanctum. And the reason for this is I want to have as much uptime as possible to proc 10 of 10s. And another benefit of stacking 2 accounts in one system is it allows me to run 4 sites at once, but maintain 4 site rotation. 2 Rock Havens on one character and Sanctum and Chem Lab on the other character, constantly bouncing between those two sites for each, rocking 10 of 10s, and that one system hopefully is so far down your local pipe or pocket that you can increase the efficiency or quality of your DED escalation procs. For those who aren't aware of that, maybe I'll do a video at some point of how that works, but when you proc an escalation, is 9 the cap, Frank? Have you seen anything greater than 9?
No, 9 is the cap.
Okay. So, one jump may not seem like a big difference, but if you look at Dotland and you're looking in your local block, count out 9 systems from where you are, and that will show you the range at how far DEDs can proc. And if you were able to shift one way or the other, or get deeper into a pocket or deeper into a pipe, that one jump may make the difference between a location that you either want to run yourself or are able to sell on your local market. Because once they get either into low-sec or one jump away from low-sec or another block, they can become very unattractive. So the hope here is if we can get data points on Yeoman to easily clear sites that I normally wouldn't run, but still get 10 of 10 procs, then I would change my writing setup. But we don't want to turn it into an active writing methodology, if we can help it. Or we want an option. So let's say the Ishtar works, then I'm happy. I'm going to run Ishtar and VNI, 2 accounts, 1 system, and be good to go. Let's say the Ishtar fails somewhere. Maybe I just cannot get orientation on the Sanctum, to work out, or maybe no matter what I do, I RNG on the Chem Lab into like 3 frigs webbing me, and then I get popped. Then we'll reapproach and maybe come back with the rattle. But we want to give the Ishtar a chance. The Ishtar is much cheaper and much less risky. I probably wouldn't leave the house if I had a Ishtar on grid, like I would the VNI, but I can still get away with like just having intel up on one of my screens and then just hoping that people report intel properly. I wouldn't actively watch my local every second. Yeah, Black Dog. That was my terrifying part. Where are the resists? Let's bring the fit back up. How about this, Black Dog? 0 resist mods. We've opted in for the drone nav computer, and by we I mean Frank. So Frank, do you want to speak on that at all? Like,
sure.
So if you didn't have the drone navigation computer, you would instantly slot in EM, or
yeah, instantly.
Okay.
So the thought process, because is that because he's orbiting at further range, so the Ishtar bonuses are drone control range, which I actually think you could drop the DLA entirely if you needed to, but whatever. There's
that'd be a fitting restriction, but we're gonna be trying out different orbiting ranges, so having at least the option to go a little farther if we want to, and
right, and we're not restricted at all. We have like 10% on both CPU and cap.
Like, we're in science mode right now. Once we actually get methodology down, the fit that we publish will either have or not have the DLA based on our results, I presume.
Right. Based on the science we hammer out now. The EM resists. This is Black Dog. This is not a C5.
Yeah, this is not a C5. C5 is us talking about rattlesnakes here in a little bit.
It says this system.
Multiple.
C5
yeah. We have multiple conversations going on today, so. The drone nav computer versus the EM.
Okay, so drone nav computer, because Rush is orbiting at a much further range, because we know the chem labs to be much more difficult than normal havens, and sanctums are a little bit riskier too. Because everything's so spread apart and you're orbiting at a larger range, we don't want to lose time, lose DPS, apply damage by drone travel time.
Yeah,
now,
damage uptime is being maintained.
A roll bonus for drone velocity, but there's no point in not getting more.
Right.
It's because we're sciencing now if he's able to tank it. Because if he's able to tank it with the drone nav computer, then why would we have no reason to change it.
Right. You never want to overtank content. Or whoops. bring that back up. Oh, thank God. I lost all aggro, and I was terrified what was going on. So I'm reconnecting Discord, so Frank's probably explaining something we're missing it, but we'll get back on there in just a moment.
Hey.
Hey, there we go. Sorry, I had to reconnect.
Oh.
So I lost all aggro, Frank, and was mortified until I saw a VNI on grid.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, whew. I still have 2 ships yellow boxing me, and I'm wondering if that's going to mess up drone aggro.
I mean, they still have the whole site to correct.
I'm not saying that it will. I'm just curious if it will, because like that's another way for us to troll Ace is go warp on his grids and steal aggro and then warp off.
So
multiple science projects at the same time.
I just got really nervous because I was jumping. I don't know if you disconnected. I was jumping.
Yeah, I missed anything you explained in the last like 3 minutes probably.
Okay, so I stopped talking about the Ishtar because I was
you had red, yeah.
I was jumping the rattle through an active red site. Reds are fighting blues somewhere.
Gotcha.
And I jumped I checked out both the gates with my frigate, and I just jumped my rattle in, and everything was okay. So they're fighting on station, and I just jumped a rattle. Like, all right, bye guys.
good luck.
Don't find me. Just
derp derp derp.
Okay, so drone nav computer. You do give up a lot of tank for it because, as you said, you're rocking 0% resist.
Right.
But orbiting the increased thermal from the VNI, you get 40% additional thermal damage.
I had no idea that was even a thing. So like the Ishtars, insane base thermal resist. Like
yeah.
I just opened up the first time and I was like 0 EM. That's not good. Like which now even puts a higher value on it for people who are out, not fighting the Sancha, and we hear them like, oh, I'm running Ishtar, and we're like why? Yeah. But now I'm seeing value. Like I'm seeing, you know, we don't have to fit any tank mods.
Oh my God! If you were fighting like Gurries, like
right,
Jesus Christ,
you'd have no need. You would never be concerned about the wave 1 damage. Probably isn't even relevant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, primary down the missile batteries, and then go grab a coffee. Go do what you're gonna do.
Yeah. So I mean, I doubt you even have to primary them down because they're still not gonna do any relevant damage.
Right. So Black Dog asked a question about sentry drones. Have you tried sentry drones yet for the range? The Ishtar itself has a bonus for heavies and sentries. Is that correct, Frank?
Yes, but
the downside is that our sentries, is it aggro and having to go get them or what?
It's having to go get them. The damaged, the damage bonus to the sentries is half. It's 5% instead of 10%. So you're not even going to get close to the DPS. So they do less damage. You have to go get them. And if they get drone aggro, you're screwed because you'll have to find a way to break orbit and go get them.
Because another part of it was, why the drone nav computer. It was to save time, to get more uptime on the damage.
Right.
Now imagine if we lost all that Black Dog by then at the end of the site, having to go run down our drones.
So Black Dog asked, heavies are notorious slower. Yes, which is why we're using the Ishtar that has a drone velocity bonus and a drone nav computer.
Does Pyfa tell you? Do we get the full Ishtar bonus plus the drone nav at full value, or are we getting diminishing returns at all?
I don't know if it stacks additively or multiplicatively.
Okay, I didn't know if Pyfa displayed that information.
Oh, you know what? Pyfa probably does tell me. Let's Praetor 2.
Because if I remember correctly, that was like the only real reason to train up the hack skill itself was for more velocity or more control range. Because it doesn't get damage from that; it gets damage from the cruiser skill.
I mean, so without the drone nav, they're 2.6 clicks a second. They're 2.85 clicks a second. With it, with 3.7. It's a pretty good. That's a nice jump. That's almost 30%.
Right.
Which
So Driz points out that sentry drones are extremely tanky. That's true,
Doesn't matter.
but that's completely irrelevant to anything that we're doing. Like,
Because so they are extremely tanky, but they are not moving, which makes them, unable to mitigate the incoming damage. So I lose sentry drones in 10 of 10s to 1 or 2 battleships attacking them. Like, if 1 or 2 battleships aggro them and I leave them up for, I'd say 20 seconds, they're dead.
now that's also in a DED. On a combat site, there's zero reason to ever have drone aggro.
True, but we haven't tried Ishtar plus sentry drones before to see if the drone aggro functions differently.
But that's also because of a different reason. Like, we don't want sentries because we A, lose damage, and B, we have to go get them. Like, there's
C,
nothing
you
but
lose
negatives, and there are 0 positives.
Yeah, and D, you lose a lot of damage.
Yeah. If anybody could say, look, I know the sentry damage goes down on the sheets, but I have XYZ reasons to suggest that damage applied goes up, we would suddenly become very interested. But nobody has that no one's presented that data point, so we don't care.
Black Dog, joint interfacing does not matter because it applies 10% to both drone types. So we could have joint interfacing -5, and we're looking for damage increase. Like, regardless of what your skills are, if your sentry and heavies are the same skill type, you will do at least half the damage bonus. You will the damage bonus on the Ishtar is 10% to heavies and 5% to sentries. That
Right.
is
It means no matter what, your sentries will always be behind your heavies.
You cannot make 5% more than 10%.
Wait till you get to so the Fishy says, if you want a damage increase, then run geckos. So Fishy, only against sleepers could you possibly run geckos in PvE and gain damage. In every other scenario, the sheet damage will lie to you.
Fishy, there is no, zero, none, nothing, no scenario, 0% chance you are doing more applicable damage with geckos than the preferred racial type.
The anti-faction, yeah, the other side of
Like
it.
Praetors to Sancha, geckos will never out damage applicable damage to Praetors.
Correct.
They no, it will not.
So
Now-
it's not just your ticks, Fishy. It's also carrier pilots who will come into chats and say, "I'm making 80 mil ticks" or whatever. They made one 80 mil tick in their life. It isn't consistent. They have 0, data points. They have no science behind it. They have no proof of examples. They just say it because they feel it's better. And that's what you're doing with the geckos. The geckos do not, in any circumstance in PvE outside of sleepers, do more damage ever. Not like some RNG can happen. Not like
And even
some variables.
Most people run. Well, not most people. A lot of people run Galente drones because they have the highest damage.
Do they?
And it really doesn't matter.
I didn't know that.
Because all the damage is mitigated by the same amount, so they just choose the highest damage. So Fishy, there's 0% chance you have done. Well, okay, Fishy, what rats are you against? And if you say Sancha, there is 0% chance you have taken more data points.
Right.
Than we have.
Now, I am
0.
not opposed. Like, at least Fishy lays out like how to test it. Like, you're right. If I do a 3-hour session, and assuming no interruptions, of course, because if you get red traffic or even blue traffic, like, it'll throw off your data points, which is why some of it's really hard to test. But we have a lot of, admittedly, dated data points. Like, how long ago did we test with the geckos? 8 weeks ago, probably.
Probably 6.
Now, is it possible that there's something that we know now that we didn't know before that was affecting our data points? Yes, it's possible. Do we think that's the case? No. Like, we couldn't be more confident about geckos being irrelevant in PvE outside of sleepers. If, let's say, someone cared enough, and someone said, hey, here's the ISK for 5 geckos, go test it out, I would do it. I just don't care enough to go drop, what, 75 times 5? So, 375? Yeah, I don't want to drop 400 mil for science on something that I couldn't be more certain about, just because we already have data points on it. You're fighting against angels?
Checking the...
Fishy.
I mean-
I know you don't perceive it this way, but it is what you've got. Because we don't have any of the data points that you are describing. We have nobody who can physically show results. I know you're saying that your ticks are 3-4 mil higher, and I'm not doubting that. I'm saying we can't see it, we can't prove it, there's no tactile way for us to interact with that information. We just have carrier pilot number 7 coming in and going, hey guys, I fly carrier when I rat, and I make 80 mil ticks, and it's amazing, and it's the only fun way to rat. We're like, oh god. You've probably seen one tick like that ever, and now we're spewing it as
What Ben
standardized.
said.
It's like your...
When people use geckos, that's fine. There are probably people who run geckos here in Sancha space. They can be dumb and bad. Like,
do you think there
there's no-
could have been, Frank, ever a time when the math worked out that the geckos were higher, and then people just got stuck on it and assumed that it's still applicable?
I just think everyone looks at sheet damage.
I think that's more likely. I think people look at sheet damage and go like, oh, that's an upgrade.
Possible, but I don't. I've never heard anyone in chat say the resists have changed in.
Right. Yeah, it'd have to be a resist change, or it'd have to be a drone functionality change that we just aren't
Right.
aware of. We weren't active at the time. So no,
I
Fishy,
mean,
we're not comparing carrier ticks to non-carrier ticks. We're comparing the people who will come in and say, my method is better, or my method... I shouldn't say better. My method yields higher tick results, and then they have zero information to back it up. Like, someone saying my ticks are 3-4 mil higher than yours. Not useful information. Because A, that person has no idea what my ticks are. B, they have maybe a fraction of the data points that we have. And never does anyone come in like, hey, here's my video. I ratted for 3 hours. Or, hey, here's screenshots of what I did this day. You know, here's actual stuff that we can reproduce, or at least, you know, put claim to facts and be good with it. I couldn't go to someone else and say, well, hey, the Fishy tells me that he runs with geckos and gets 3 to 4 mil per tick, you know, better ticks. I couldn't pass that along as useful data. See, Trust, you might not be accounting for tracking, orbiting, and optimal range.
but-
The OTEs, as far as we know, blank out that variable. As far as we're aware, doesn't mean that it is. Just we think we've hit the diminishing rate of return on tracking, as far as I'm aware.
So the thing is, none of my data matters. Like the way I track data does not matter. Tracking, orbiting, or optimal range, speed, any of that. Like that doesn't matter, because the way I take data is I see from landing from point X to Y how long it takes me to wipe out a full site, how long it takes me to kill each class of ship, how long it takes me to clear each wave, and I take that over hours and hours.
Right.
And then I do the same for the second type of. I do the same thing for geckos versus praetors. I do the same thing for ogres versus praetors.
Something else to note is that we only tested geckos that I know of. We only tested geckos with the Ishtar. It was the fact that we had Ishtar with geckos and Ishtar without geckos. I don't think we ever tested the VNI with geckos, because we would need more geckos to do so.
I tested it with VNI.
Did you?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't expect you to have the video on hand, Fishy. I just meant that we have our own data points that we did ourselves to confirm that geckos do not improve ticks against Sancha, ever.
Yeah. So, like I said,
that's the only thing we can compare with.
Angel space, you know, I would have to go back to FCon space.
Like, hey guys, Don't mind
I'm
me.
just gonna be here for like 10 hours. It's cool, right?
It's like I was never here. Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
Driz. There's a difference between applied damage and raw damage. I presume is what the sheet is. 2 Gecko and 1 Heavy versus 5 Heavies rush.
Yes.
You can't do the bandwidth for that. I thought 2 Geckos was all you could put out.
No, 2 geckos and a heavy.
Okay,
Because a gecko is 2 heavies.
gotcha. I thought the Ishtar bandwidth got sucked up by the 2. I thought they were 25 bandwidth or something like that, or whatever, 5 times the heavy. Or 2.5 times the heavy.
Fucking rats on gates. God damn it. Ben, please give me the password to your Alliance open POS.
So the other thing I'm running into is that, so I could run like Sanctums and Chem Labs on the Rattlesnake, like the Ratting Rattle.
Yeah.
But then I'm actually having push buttons, and I don't want to multi-box like that way. Like, I don't want to have to put missiles on a battleship and then tab over to another account, and just to like, you know, clean out yellow boxing frigs, because there's no effort in yellow boxing frigs, but there is like clicks. Like I have to click buttons to make that happen. That gets in the way sometimes.
So, okay, this is my, I guess, ideal scenario. Well, I guess. So, you have 2 accounts out at a time. You choose which 2. Let's, assume no red traffic, perfect safety, all that, blah, blah, blah. You either want Rattle plus VNI, or Rattle plus either VNI or Ishtar, or you want our science for what's today, Thursday? So our science for Saturday.
Hey, pup.
Mac and the other ship, and Mac and VNI Rattle or VNI Ishtar.
Right.
So you want 1 drone boat, and your second account is like second ship undocked is based on what you want to do.
So that's what I have issue with. Like I still catch myself. It doesn't mean that's bad. It might just be bad for me. Being active on one ship on the main client and having any number of other clients, even on VNI havens, like I'm still having to clear out the yellow frigs. And it's easy for me to mess up my, I guess, rotation. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it.
I mean,
Or I feel like I'm flying the Rattle on the main screen. I'm not being efficient, like because I'm having downtime on my missiles or whatever. Maybe I should be more comfortable with letting my curators just do work and then just view my missile damage as bonus.
I mean, that's, I think, one of the downsides. One of the things we're gonna, everyone has to get over while multi-boxing is you're never going to be 100% efficient on both.
Right.
You're giving up efficiency.
Well, as long as any of them are active, you take an even bigger hit to that.
Right.
Because I've noticed that when I'm multi-boxing 2 accounts, my efficiency is near perfect. It's not perfect, like you said. Like as soon as you go to the multi-account, you're gonna lose some.
Boats,
Even 2 AFK drone boats are near perfect efficiency. But as soon as I bring up the 3rd one, it isn't accurate, but I'm constantly cycling through the 3 accounts because I don't have data points. I don't have enough personal experience with running all 3 at once to know when I'm supposed to check. Because I might start today, start account number 1, and then at some random indeterminate time, start account number 2, and then again at some indeterminate point of time, start account number 3. And I have no way of knowing where the 3 accounts are on any given site, unless I start them off at the same time. And because different accounts clear things at different times, because they don't all have perfect skills, there'll always be that shift one way or the other. So I'm constantly just tabbing through, like, what wave are you on? What wave are you on? What wave are you on?
So, I think having, okay, so let's say you're in the Rattle and you decide I'm going to dedicate 99% efficiency to the Rattle. I'm going to try to keep it as active as possible. You know, no downtime on late or on missiles, stuff like that.
Right.
When you do that, you're going to give up being as quick for yellow boxing frigs.
Right.
And I think that's okay. And I think with the ratting rattle fit, your clear times are going to be, you know, I think sub 18 minutes.
So in that time frame, I'd only have to check my other account like once.
Yeah.
I got you. And on the main screen, if I'm going with the rattle, I can missile down the battleships and then let the curators handle the sub-battleships. I presume.
So the curators are the things you have to micromanage.
Okay.
Because
Oh, the curators will primary battleships, won't they?
I'm pretty sure they will. I'm
Right.
almost positive.
Because all of our interaction so far says that drones will prioritize the larger targets.
Right. Now they may drop 2, 3 frigates before, stuff goes down and gets targeted. And that's cool. And plus your missile damage makes up less of your total damage than it's about the same with the ratting rattle fit actually.
You know though, if I wasn't limited by if number of displays was not a limitation, let's say I could just plaster, monitors all over this wall. Being able to at a glance assess a grid.
Oh.
Efficiency spike, you know what I mean? Like if it's just an eye flick, just to make, do I see any yellow boxes? Nope.
So
okay, forget about the account.
What about what Zhao talked about in the program that makes it like a mini window, on your second screen?
I wondered about that because I've run the game in all three options: full screen, windowed, and fixed window, and none of it ever gives me a good stacking option that I want to use 100% of the time. There's always something that I want to change, like today, if I wanted to bring up 2 accounts, I need them to be the same size and overlapped, or resources just, go in the toilet, or I don't know. There's always some kind of issue with it. So yeah, I think he was talking about yesterday sounded interesting. I wondered how that would go.
Yeah. So because all you have to really look for is the bottom right corner when it says drones are idle. That on a small window, I think that would be a lot more visible than trying to look for yellow boxing frigs.
There we go. Yeah, Fish, if you're able to, I see the link. I just can't do anything about it while I'm live. Or else then everybody wants to post links, wants me to bookmark stuff, and turns into a big mess. Or honestly, if anybody just DMs me that link later, they'll have access to it. I'm guessing Eve O is the program that Fishy's assuming that's what I was talking about. I don't know. It could be or could not be. I have no idea.
I mean, that was about right. Me and Zao talked about so much yesterday that a lot of it has fallen out of my brain.
Right.
There's a lot of information. So, okay. So back to the Ishtar. If this succeeds, if you run, let's say, 4 of each type of site. Well, okay. So the thing we're looking for is on the Sanctum, worst possible orbit. So
yeah, instead of trying to RNG into it, let's just go ahead and do the worst possible orbit and see what happens.
So the worst possible orbit is horizontal, parallel, orbiting parallel to the gates, the line of gates. And the reason for the chat, the Sanctums we have are 5 star rings.
I actually just finished the Chem Lab, so I'm going to one in a moment. And we'll have a visual for it.
So yeah, they're 5 rings in a row. They're lined up, and the rats spawn inside the ring. And so if our orbit is parallel to it, there's a chance that Rush will run just straight into a group of rats. And the problem there could be if a frigate webs him.
Right. Or I was thinking just now, what if I bounce into a gate?
then our orbit's wrong. Like our orbit distance wrong. Because
because you want to be able to orbit the entire site.
well, orbit either the entire site or through the end 2 rings.
Okay,
Like,
let me go this way with it. I have the option of warping straight to a chem lab now. I'm sorry, a sanctum. What is my warp in, and what is my orbit going to be when I
I
do
would
select?
say warping at 70, so you can gauge where you are.
Okay.
And then
Do the 50 still off the first gate, but try to manual pilot into a horizontal orbit.
yeah, so okay, if we look at the 5 rings, I ideally want the orbit to be to pass between 1 and 2 and 4 and 5, like through the middle.
And we just don't know what that number is going to be, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now I do know the gates are, I think, 32 away from each other.
You know what's crazy is both these sites are all active when you land. So this site, I don't know if it's a fresh one. I'm oriented towards the left side. I'm going to orbit the middle gate at 50 and just see where that puts us.
Yeah.
The rats themselves are 60 and 70 off me. I deployed drones. Drones went to go fight immediately. So I guess this first run is going to be mostly testing for orbit control. Because we're going to assume the thing's going to hold just fine. I'm not at a perfect horizontal parallel, but it's pretty damn close. I don't know if you have the option to bring the stream up, but if you do,
Yeah.
we're going to peek at this, and it is damn close.
Good. It's good.
Complete luck and fluke, because I was aligned to the left when I landed. It pulled me to the right when I wanted to do my orbit. So, orbiting at 50, wow. I'm at the 54. You know, because they have that little differential.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a little less on the VNI or on the Ishtar because we're moving a little bit slower. You know what I mean? We're not having as much force pulling us out of orbit.
Right. You're closer to your orbit distance.
Right. Only by... Oh, I'm actually at a perfect 50 right now. We'll see if that maintains though when I haven't made my turn yet, you know what I mean?
Okay. Wow, you are pretty damn close.
If anything, it seems like I've actually gotten closer to a horizontal orbit.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten really lucky on this one. I'm going to wait till I'm parallel with the middle gates, and then I'm going to drop my MTU there. 50 orbit. Hey, a 50 orbit looks like it's going to take me outside the last gate. Or, you know what I mean? Outside both gates.
Okay. How... Well, I guess I'll see how close.
I mean, it's pretty close, but probably a good... It's there's no cause for concern, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so you can click on the gate and
True.
When you're the closest point to it.
There we go. 23 so far. 22, 21, 20. We're not gonna get closer than 16 though. Or I'd be very surprised if we got closer than 16.
Oh, fishy. Good info.
15. Here we go. 15. Wow, I'm surprised. 14. But also the way this gate works, like the thing you click is off to the side, so let's say effectively 15.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty good. So yeah, okay. So that will not. All
right. So my brain is running here on like ahead of me. I'm noticing that these gates have different clickables, different interactables to orbit. I think I just lucked into the thing that I clicked on the middle gate. Was it the perfect location on the gate to adjust my orbit into a horizontal?
Right.
Because I got now I'm selecting one in the bottom, and now I'm selecting one in the middle. I selected one near the middle to align.
Fishy brings up a good thing. Turn on your tactical overlay. We can see what your orbit.
True.
So we could even orbit at like 48, and if we wanted to get tighter for.
Hey, what do I need to toggle because that thing's not working? Tactical overlay. Oh wait, did I hit the wrong one? Probably the wrong one. No, hit tactical camera. It is.
No, tactical overlay.
Gotcha. This one. There we go. There we go. I like it. There we go. This is when we want to know something specific, we can just bring that up. Good call, Fishy. Hey, Hezfet. Your normal riding spot was so quiet this morning. Like, you'd have been the only person
all the
local.
rats. There are no more
There's what?
rats. Sorry.
What you talking about?
There are no more rats in Hezfet's spot.
Oh, man, he'd have been... It still might be dead there, I don't know. Oh, like, yeah, so I got up super early this morning, Frank, and had, like, multiple hours of almost uninterrupted riding. It was good. Yeah, so the entire site is 70-ish, 75-ish wide.
Yep. Okay, so 50 works.
So we need the wave to clear, so the
you
next
know
wave
what?
can spawn
This is
on
what
top
you
of me,
need to
right?
do. Click on the furthest gate from you,
Okay,
and what's the distance?
I got you. Hold on. 93 away at the moment. As I pass that, you know what I mean? 93.
Okay, so
That's the data point you wanted, because you want to know what the
That's the
control
data
range is going to be.
that because what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do is when that wave spawns, when either peak end spawns, you're gonna make sure that the wave survives an orbit. Either by dancing your drones between two targets to
I got you.
confuse them, but we need
So,
to know.
I think I'm on the second wave that I've seen here. I haven't really paid attention to where each wave spawns. And because they move so much, because I'm moving so much, I'm not entirely sure.
Where did the first wave spawn from when?
When I
where this is?
landed, going left to right, they were on number 2. The second wave, I have no idea. I'm gonna presume they spawned in the middle gate. Right, that's a presumption. I can't back that up. Oh, awesome, Hespet. It was super quiet. Like, I haven't been on Eve near downtime in a long time.
I was on the downtime.
What
On the other
spreadsheet,
end of downtime.
Mortar?
Just on the opposite end of you.
Mortar
like
X. What spreadsheet are you looking for?
This-
We're asking about?
3:45, and I was like, I should go to bed.
First wave spawn on the second ring, then the first ring, then the third, fourth, and fifth. So it goes
2,
2, 1, 3, 4, 5.
5.
Okay. That's good to know. I didn't know if it was RNG or not.
No,
Like, I figured every ring had to spawn at some point. I didn't know if there was actually going to be an order. to it.
So the issue.
Oh,
when we
new
talk about-
wave. New wave, and this is what you wanted. It spawned on the farthest one away, and I'm about to orbit the opposite end.
Okay, awesome. So what things we're looking for: drone aggro.
Okay?
I guess that's really all we're looking for, because your drone control range is more than the entire site is wide. So
But it's close. Like, it's real close.
yeah, I mean it's
The
have a
rats
DLA
are
one.
91 currently, and they might get a little bit further. They should be coming towards me now.
right. You have a
The
DLA one.
3 non-BSs are yellow boxed. That could be because they're so far away.
You
And
have
so
a-
far, drones
so
have taken any
tech-
damage, so...
You have a Tech 1 DLA as well, so you're not even, as much control range as you could. So, not concerned at all.
So, Hunden, all the modules are on the screen. The rigs are both Tech 2 what? Purgers?
Mergers.
But if you want to actually see the fit or whatever, just XM and Ron chat and I can post it there for you. Yeah, so far everything's fine. Now everything's within 85, and that should have been the worst case scenario. I guess the next worst case scenario is orbiting into a wave that has frigs.
Yep.
Because if we can recreate that, then we can find out, do I fly into a wave of frigs, get webbed, and care?
Die.
Yeah. Now you believe that we'll burn through them so fast it won't matter. Not burn through as in DPS them down, but we'll be moving at such a velocity and be burning away that the frig's web won't be enough.
Because the AI is not going to try to match your speed. Is not going to try to get zero transversal on you.
Right.
It's going to head straight towards you.
And I'll slingshot past.
Yeah. So you might get webbed for a bit, but
they can't maintain the web.
correct.
I gotcha.
The worst, I mean, man, this would be some terrible RNG, but is if they spawned on top of you, so they had zero velocity.
Hey, there's Zal. Zal says the frig webs are 90%. 90% of what?
90% speed.
Suggesting that you wouldn't be able to slingshot, or
Right, but the speed is a gradual decline.
yeah,
right?
you don't. It doesn't apply. Then you immediately lose 90%.
Right, you have to.
It bleeds off.
You have to decelerate, which you know,
Panda. This is an Ishtar. We're flying for different purposes on different sites. Where is? Oh, Roberto. What do you do with all the disc? You're looking at it. Just more science. We
just
shipped up into a Ishtar to test out some other sites. We
I
got a.
threw,
So
almost-
we'll tease this out, but there's a Mercurial coming.
Yeah.
Either
Saturday?
tomorrow or what is tomorrow? What is today? So Friday or Saturday, we're gonna do a
Next 2
smart bombing
days.
Mercurial to farm 6s. Yeah, today we're checking out the Ishtar to see if it runs the sites I wanted to run, so I can stack my accounts in the same system. And we've got a active Rattlesnake for Havens, Frank, or for any 10-10 spawning site,
we're gonna test it on Havens though, because
Right.
it's what we know.
right? It's what we'll recognize the data for, and then once we clear those without issue, then we can take them to the other
Yeah.
ones. Do you know for a fact
So-
that more damage output exists on the Chem Lab or the Sanctum?
More targets exist on the Chem Lab, which makes it more
And because of
difficult.
triggers, things can happen.
Right. And where everything spawns, you could end up with frigates on top of you, and
Right.
that's a lot of fun.
Alright, Zal says a normal web is a 60% web. Frig webs are 90. So it's 30 more to deal with. Also multi-webs, and they can
Right.
follow fairly closely if the AI wants to.
Um,
Will they try to match speed?
so
I guess they don't have to if they have their full speed and you're down by 90%. Not all frig webs are 90%, but the frigates and the sites are. Okay. I don't know if you meant AI frigs or if you meant frigs in general.
So the thing is,
Or
so
yes.
what I'm counting on Zal is, since the AI is always chasing us on a site, is that when they spawn, they head towards us. That we're just gonna,
Oh, Frank. The tactical map also shows our orbit orientation.
yeah.
I just now realized that, and we're no longer on a near horizontal.
Huh.
Like, something has caused us to, not decay, but something has affected our orbit since we got here. It's not a huge differential, but it is noticeable.
Maybe it's just the circle getting more precise.
Like, with every revolution, it adjusts.
Yeah.
Not like each revolution, but like over each revolution.
Yeah.
There's
It
an adjustment.
slowly gets closer to a perfect circle.
They'll try and orbit you generally, but they're often slow to react. Gotcha. There's something else I was going to say, but I'm trying to think what it was now. Crap, what was it? Nope, I lost it. Had a thought.
So yeah, mainly that's our number one AFK fear. is
Oh,
that-
that's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna say Frank's theory, and we're acknowledging it as a theory, is that when webbed, we'll be burning towards the rats, they'll be burning towards us, and that their 90% weeb can't bleed off our speed fast enough before we just pull their range again. Because it's only what, 10, 15, 20 at most. Do we have to get away?
It's 10. They have to be sub 10.
Okay. Now, admittedly, the Ishtar is gonna be more vulnerable because it moves,
Slower.
150-ish slower with the current fit.
Yeah.
Are you guys Newt and Null or conducting an experiment? I'm confused. So Frank has been playing Eve for like right at 100 days.
Yeah.
I've played off and on for years and just done different things.
Hun is in ROM chat.
Oh, cool. Am I not? You never X'd up, or I'm bad. You know what? I may
Yeah,
have scrolled up. I scrolled up because I'm bad. Hold on one sec, Mortar. We'll get there. There we go. So, Frank's been in the game for about 100 days, has gone really hard at one thing, ratting. Within his 100 days, he's now in Rattles soloing 10 and 10s and null and having fun with it. I am trying to get my accounts stacked up in the same system so I can multi-box within one system. Ideally, I'd want VNIs on Rock Havens in different systems, but it's just not it's not practical. Oh, I got a Chimera visiting me. Let's see. If it works. Works 100% and fails once, it's a failure. Yeah, exactly. Ishtar, Dax. This is the Ishtar. Yeah, this is all well and good as long as we can clear 100 sites with it, and then that one site when I tab back over to a pod.
Oh yeah, if it fails once, it's a failed.
Yeah, yeah, we would no longer use the method.
I don't know who Asura is, but they're dumb and bad. In ROM chat.
Oh, I want to see what this one would be better. So it has an automated targeter, which is horrible, because then people come back to us and say, "My cat broke. What do I do?" Like, well, step one, get that stupid auto targeter off there. I see a tracking link, which means the lows must have changed. It has a damage control. Why the hell would you have damage control? That's horrible. I wonder. So this could be applicable, but swapping out scripts. That's the one advantage of a link is you can swap scripts for different content. I presume, maybe of different types of sites, the scripts become relevant. I don't know, but there's no reason for damage control, and there's no reason for automated targeter. That's just horrible. Especially for, keep in mind, a lot of the interactions we have are with people who are either new to the game, so their fitting skills are lower and their cap skills are more relevant, or they're new to this particular activity, and we don't want to introduce mods that are only going to break their fit.
Yeah, what Zao said. He doesn't turn on the auto targeter. He just has it equipped for the extra targeting, which is cool. And I wish I could find a slot for it on my rattle.
As long as they don't turn it on. But here's the other issue: like the new bro's going to see the fit, not consult us, and they're going to turn it on, and then they're going to come back to a pod and be like, "What do?"
Almost everything we do is for the lowest common denominator.
Yes, which I think, what is that, Eve?
Which I think is us.
Yeah.
Like,
we have to make it so idiot-proof that we can't screw it up.
Yeah.
Because if we can't screw it up, then we understand less when someone comes back to us and is like, I fucked up. Tim was here earlier. Tim and his guns.
I'm not even gonna be at my computer. Like,
Frank goes grocery shopping while writing. Like,
yeah, I'm not even gonna be like within like in my house on my block.
you just got lucky with what's his name, and you were like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if I'm on Havens, there's a heavy chance that I'm not even in my bedroom.
Now Frank hasn't left the computer in a week because of 10 of 10 rattle writing. Like,
Yes. Which is why my ass hurts from the seat.
you gotta be standing. Come on, I'm
Yeah,
standing.
my feet also hurt. I've been playing like fucking 12 hours a day.
So Frank has had 4 DD bookmarks expire, because he got drawn away from the computer for real life. And do you want to go into that story?
Okay.
Go for
okay.
it.
All right.